Now let us start from first point, faith in own team. Now this will be your experience when you go and work in some industry, or even in colleges also you might be having different functions. For different functions we do make different committees in which there are members of the committee. So if the members are there, suppose there are 4 or 5 members, the leader of that committee, usually we have some in charge of that committee. So the leader has to have the faith in the own team so that he would distribute the work and he will sleep properly. Like I have given the work to somebody else and I am sure that he is very much expert in doing that, he will be able to do it and I don't have to take care of it. You are sure, you are confident about your team. That is required in workplaces and everywhere, wherever you are working in a team. You have to have, specifically the leader has to have the faith in the team, otherwise the team is likely to do entirely hodgepodge work because only of the fact that the team doesn't believe on it. The moment team members have got a feeling that our leader do not believe on us, they will start doing hodgepodge work. They will not do the work concentratedly. They will not do the work by dedication and devotion. They will just do it for the sake of doing it. They will not give their fullest or 100% efficiency. So you have to have a faith in the own team. Team members and capabilities. Again, a simple thing. Why do we make different teams? I can give you the example of a simple conference which you are supposed to organize in your institution, or maybe some cultural event to be organized. We do make some different teams. There is some logistics team, there is some anchoring team, there is invitation team, there might be some stage arrangement teams. Why do we make those teams? Because of their capabilities. We give the anchoring to the person. Who was the girl who did introduction for me? What's her name? Shambhuli. Shamal. Okay. So Shamal has done my introduction. Why that work has been given to her? Because she must be better as compared to others. And there might be other team working behind, say anchoring team, which is the most important team in any function. Typically national conference, you are supposed to speak for inauguration on the theme, then introduce the different speakers. Then after the speaker is done, the most difficult part is you have to summarize the speaker and thank him. Usually Thanksgiving is something which people think anybody can do it. But it's the most difficult job. You must summarize, the Thanksgiving person must summarize what the speaker has spoken and then he should thank him. So anchoring team will require probably different kind of skills which logistics people don't have. Logistics people, what do? They make the arrangements for car, maybe Ola, whatever, for the speaker coming in. They are supposed to only walk with that speaker, go to the place where he is supposed to sit and then go back to the car and wait for the speaker to come. That's it. Even if he is not able to speak, even if he is a dumb person from the childhood, he can do that work, logistics. But a person who is dumb cannot do anchoring. The point is, depending upon the capabilities of every individual, we are supposed to give the work or allot the work. Let us make it very simple. All of you have different specializations, right? HR, marketing, operations, supply chain, business analytics, and finance. These are the 5 major specializations which we offer. Why do you decide to go for a particular specialization? It must have been your own decision, right? You might have taken help from somebody to understand whether I should be going for this specialization or I should go for the other one. Usually that is the trend commerce people go for finance. That is usually a trend that we engineering students go for operations supply chain. Then science background and engineering usually go for business analytics. And then most of the other people, other graduations, they go for marketing. And usually those who cannot go anywhere, they go for HR. That is the general understanding in the minds of the people. And that is how I went into HR, though I am an engineer from CYT. But then I decided marketing I cannot do, I cannot convince people. I do not want to be in the technical field. That time, of course, business analytics was not there. Finance was never my cup of tea. So what remains HR? So the HR later. But then that is something very wrong impression which you got in our brain. HR is supposed to be the most difficult specialization to deal with. Because you are dealing with human beings and the entire world is run by human beings still. There are not robots which are existing on the earth who will design another robot. So we require human beings, barring that exception Rajnikant's movie Robo, where Robo is designing another robot. But then in reality, it's not really happening. So we will find IT companies, we say that IT companies all work on internet and computers, but we require human beings to work on the stuff. We find most of the recruitments, almost more than 35% recruitment of management students is in IT. So if computers or robots, automation is supposed to do everything, then why human beings are required? So human beings will not be extinguished anyway, maybe at least another 5,000 years to go. So every individual's capabilities is very much important. So those capabilities are decided based on the specializations which you are taking, and you must know what are your own capabilities. So team members and their capabilities. So work distribution is always given like that. Even when you start working in the industry, even as a marketing also, you have a different specialization. You got advertising management as another specialization, territory management is another specialization. You might have some dealer distribution management as another specialization under marketing. In HR also we have a different specialization. I won't go into all those details, but I hope you are trying to understand. In HR also you can decide whether you want to go for wage and salary or training and development. All those things are functions are totally different. If you are very bad at calculations, you cannot do anything in wage and salary. If you are good in understanding the people, you do go in psychometric analysis. So under each specialization also you need to know your own capabilities. That is what we do in businesses also, something called as SWOT analysis. Again, a topic taught already to second year. First year is probably yet to come. But then something what we call as management jargons. SWOT, strength, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. Every business has to do this before they start with the business. And when they are into the business, they have to keep on doing it. There is a famous story or an incident which has happened in one of the chewing gum manufacturing company, which is one of the world famous chewing gum manufacturing company which is available in India also, Wrigley's chewing gum. You might have eaten that chewing gum. Wrigley's chewing gum. Wrigley's is the surname of the person who has invented, and it is still today #1 chewing gum company in the world. In India it might be Babu. But then Wrigley chewing gum is #1 in the world. So he was once traveling by a train, and then he would just happen to talk to the driver of the train, engine driver. And the engine driver asked him that Mr. Wrigley's, you are already #1 in the world as far as chewing gum manufacturing is concerned, and your company is on the top of chewing gum manufacturing. So why do you keep on still advertising? And many places we could see your advertisement on hoardings and televisions and many media. You are advertising Wrigley chewing gum when you are already #1. What Wrigley asked him? Wrigley told him that what is the speed at which this engine is running around, this train is running right now? He said 160 miles per hour. Then he asked him, then why don't you detach the engine? When the train has already picked up that speed of 160 miles per hour, so detach the engine, the train will run on its own. He said, no, how it is possible? So I have to have that engine pulling the entire train to be there, to maintain that speed of 160 miles per hour. He said the same is the reason. To maintain that position first, I have to keep on advertising. So that is what the companies are doing. Even if the company is on the number top, they will have to keep on analyzing themselves. They will have to keep on doing their own strength, identifying their own strength, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. One example I am recollecting here, I might give the same example later with some different context. All of you know the company named as Nokia. Yes, sir. How many of you have a Nokia handset now? Not a single. Right? But then there was a time where 93% people in the world were using Nokia handsets. 93% was the market share. Android people approached Nokia. They said, we have come up with a new technology, you take us. Nokia said, no, we don't want Android technology. Where is Nokia now? Maybe the reverse percentage market share might have gone. Now they have got Android adopted. But when first time Nokia came to them, they rejected, they went to Samsung. And there was a point of time when Samsung had 85% percentage of market share. What I am trying to tell you is that Samsung has done what is the opportunity in the market, which Nokia decided not to listen to them. So every business has to do SWOT analysis. You can do your own SWOT analysis, self-SWOT analysis. You can say you have to identify your own strengths, own weaknesses. These two are the commonly asked questions at the time of your interview. They will ask you, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses? When it comes to strength, you have got a big list of things available. When it comes to weaknesses, you really have to think. Because every person thinks that I am the best person on the earth. मेरे जैसा कोई नहीं. But it really is not the case. You have got a lot of weaknesses. Every individual has got a lot of weaknesses with reference to one subject which first year students have already learned, Essentials of Psychology for Managers. And there is a diagram called as diagram of mind, structure of a mind. And it says that 10% is only what other people see and 90% is what other people cannot see. So there are the things which are hidden. And it is found there is a structure of mind, there is a part of mind called as id. Either all those things which are bad wishes, the things which we wanted to have it in our life but we are not able to have it. some wrong kind of ideas, some wrong notions, something which we wish to do, something which we want to aspire, which may not be practically possible. So all those negative things are there in every individual human being's mind that contribute to 60%. So I cannot say that anybody is not having weaknesses. You cannot say that you don't have any weaknesses. Every individual human being, including me, have about 60% of the weaknesses, which you need to understand. Of course, those weaknesses, when you are asked at the time of interview, they will be asking you only from the perspective of workplaces. So what are your weaknesses as far as your work ethics are concerned? What are your strengths as far as your capabilities? We call it management as KSS, knowledge, skills and attitude. Competencies. So from that perspective, what are your strengths, weaknesses? OT you don't have to do at personal level, that companies do. Opportunities in the market and threats. Threats means what are the possible negative things likely to happen to your business because the changes are happening in the market. So now in the place of threats, now the T is replaced by C, that is challenge. So we don't take it negatively, we accept the changes happening in the world as the challenges which a company is supposed to face. We have to do that, and competitive analysis, every company has to do that. Can anybody tell me that if I ask you to start with a typewriter manufacturing company, who's ready to do that? Typewriter manufacturing company, start with it now, today. Who will do it? No? Why? There is no competitor. Still you don't want to start with that manufacturing of that product? Yes? The technology is out there, that's simple answer. So again from that perspective, you have to keep on something called as competitor benchmarking. I'll come to that concept later. So you have to keep on doing analysis of the competitor, what another competitor is doing. Again give you a simple example of mobile which we all are using. There was a time when there were 10 different mobile service provider companies. Now Jio is eating almost all other players. But that time there was Idea Cellular, it was AT&T that time, American Telephones and Telecommunication, converted to Idea later. Then that time there was Airtel was there, then BSNL came up with the mobile service provider. That being the government sector, the day they started selling the SIM cards, they declared that incoming and outgoing free. When other players were charging 2 rupees 50 paise the moment you receive a call, and the moment you make a call 5 rupees per minute. The next day morning, all the other mobile service provider companies came to the scheme, incoming free, outgoing was still charged as 1 rupees. Why? Competitor analysis. If they wanted to stay in the business, they have to do the competitor analysis. They did it at that time, but now look at the one who initiated this competition of incoming free, BSNL. Again a question, how many of you are using BSNL card? Not a single. Because later on they didn't do. They always think most of the services which are provided by the government, they always think we are better than the private players. Now there is a lot of privatization happening today, including Jio, which is likely to come up very soon. And last but not the least, stress and anxiety. That is where Bhagavad Gita started. Arjuna has got a lot of anxiety that how can I kill my own gurus. These are few of the things mentioned there. The more important thing for us to understand is Annechu Bhagavan Shura, Madhate Tekta Jivita. Means, for me, in front of me, there are many better fighters than me who were expert in some or the other war techniques. And these are the names of all those few people present to fight with. On Pandava's side, Arjuna, Bhima, Virat. That's it. These are the only 3 names which we know from Mahabharata. Rest all were there. Shikhandi is one name which we probably know when Bhishma was killed. But rest all other names we rarely know, but these are all the names of the kings who were supporting Pandava or all the great warriors or great fighters. On Kaurava side, Bhishma Pitama, he was called as Bhishma Pitama, was the most respected person in the entire Mahabharata. Karna was actually Pandava's real brother, but then he went into Kaurava. He was known as one of the best example of friendship between Karna and Duryodhana. He said, for friendship, I am ready to fight with the entire world. And he maintained it for the entire lifetime. So Karna, Duryodhana, Dushasana and Ashwatthama. The rest all again, we rarely know. Who were there on the opposite side? Acharya means gurus. Maternal cousins means cousins who were from the mother's side. Paternal cousins from the father's side. Nephews, grandnephews, friends, teachers, uncles, relatives, etc. All were there on the Kaurava side who were observed by Arjuna, and then he decided, how can I kill my own guru, Bhishmacharya? How can I kill our different acharyas? Gurishava is again one of them. So these are all my friends, uncles, or relatives. I don't want to kill them and enjoy kingdom. Because everyone was expert in different warfare techniques. These are the different instruments which were played to declare that a war is on. It is very much clearly mentioned in chapter number 1 that they made so much amount of huge noise that it went on to somewhere around 10 kilometers of the radius. And that huge noise was a big roar of a very horrible war is likely to start. And then everyone was expert in all these are the names of different kind of weapons which they were using. And every one of them were expert in different kind of war techniques. So it is again with relationship to the team and the team building and identifying the individuals' abilities of the team. You need to give the work to the people who are expert in it. For example, Duryodhana and Bhim had the fight at the end because they were expert in the instrument called as Gada. I couldn't find a parallel word in English, probably there may be some other words. Then Arjuna was very, very famous in using bows and arrows, and that's how he won Draupadi. So all experts were there. Likewise, the learning from first chapter, which entire first chapter of Bhagavad Gita speaks about who was expert in what, and all these names were there. What has happened actually onto the war fields. Bhagavad Gita started in Arjuna giving a command to Lord Shri Krishna that Ratham Sthapaye Mechyuta, means take me to the center of the warfare and let me see who are going to be there to fight with me. And then what he saw there at all these people and their expertise. And then Lord Shri Krishna said, okay, no, I am not going to fight with them. That is all for the day.